enforce it by owner. When you sense their questions are out of frustration, say, it sounds like to me it's time for us to get together. And if you're in person, then you're basically saying it's time for us to talk right now. So I kind of mentioned the dialogue to sitting down with them. So if you get a no, well, or no, so if you can get what you need in the sale of your home by forming a working relation with me, why wouldn't you consider meeting with me or chatting with me? Remember, you got to go back to if they now resist the conversation, you would say to them, well, why wouldn't you consider at least getting a little more advice? And if at the end of our conversation you feel like you are going to lose by partnering with me, simply say, not at this time. Worst case scenario is you will be more informed about the options you have in the sale of your home. Besides, you should never say no until you know what you're saying no to. Whew. That's a tough one, guys. So sometimes you're going to get resistance again, so be careful and know that you're going to get some resistance. You should expect that. Don't be surprised. Right? So besides, you should never say no until you know what you're saying no to. I had to say it twice because you need to know that that's going to create resistance, but it's a punch. It's a let's go. It's time to ask for the business. I've already given you enough value. But you don't say that. That's your way of saying it. Right? You should never say no until you know what you're saying no to. There may be opportunities available you never knew existed. I mean, really, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? So value for dialogue, value for value dialogue. Don't be surprised if at some point at FSBO asks you, so why are you doing all this for you? What's in it for you? So I'm going to go down the dialogue piece over here, but then I'm going to give you a few kind of quick hits, quick nuggets, quick phrases that I've used in the past, but let's follow this. Value for value dialogue. First, I do this because I believe in win-win relationships. Again, hokey, cliche, but straight to the point. We both got to win. Isn't that true? In, again, the law of reciprocity, if the other person's winning more, the other human feels, ugh, this is not a good relationship. If I give you things of value that help you sell your home, that's a definite win for you. Would you agree? Remember, get them to shake their head, yes. Yes. Well, if you happen to run across someone who wants to sell a home and doesn't want to go FSBO, you may think of my name. And if you do, that's a definite win for me. You see, sometimes there's just value in knowing people. Okay. So comprehensive questions and advanced dialogue for this. Oh, sorry, let me go back for a second because I want to talk about more dialogue, as I mentioned. So why are you willing to do all of this? What's in it for you? It's something I like to say. Well, what's in it for me is this. If you decide to ever use me, this is a line that I've used so many times. If you decide that after all this value, I want to be your choice broker, please don't be, and I've used this line before, don't say I'd like to be the one being interviewed, because then it triggers something in the FSBO owner's head that maybe I should interview multiple brokers. Just say that if you ever decide to use a broker, I want to be your choice broker. That's why I'm doing all this value. I'm giving you all this value, rather. And as this mentioned over here, I want to know, I want to be in front of you, so if someone else wants to use a broker or an agent or a realtor, you know, even though you might have sold it on your own, you had a good experience with me, and you will recommend me to other people. So here we go, comprehensive questions in advanced dialogue. These are accountability related questions, guys. How long has your home been for sale? Have you received any offers? How many times has this been showing? What feedback are you getting from potential buyers? Have any similar homes sold while yours has been on the market? Guys, the accountability piece means this. You're holding the seller accountable, but you're doing it by being their coach, by showing them. They're going to become frustrated and they're going to self-discover that possibly the results that they're getting so far are not the results that you'd be getting, perhaps, right? And it's probably something that they're not tracking either. So you're letting them self-discover that. Exposure-related issues would be, how are you marketing the house? Well, it's on Zillow. What's been your experience, right? What's the response been? Have any realtors showed your house? If so, what is their feedback? These are questions that will help you warm up the relationship and get them to self-discover that it's not that easy. Do not become argumentative saying, oh, so you think just Zillow's going to help you sell this place, huh? Do you think, FSBOs is going to help you sell this place? Then you're creating too much resistance, and that's not the point of this dialogue. The point is letting them self-discover that just using Zillow and just using Realtor.com, they can't even use Realtor.com, sorry about that, but using just one platform is going to work for them. Because it allows you after that to say, well, the way I usually do it, and again, you don't always have to be that person that goes into the how you usually do it, but it allows you to talk about that, to let them self-discover that they may be missing some resources that you have. Price-related questions. These are times when you're meeting them and having conversations either over the phone or in person, right? You ask, Mike, what do I say besides, how you doing, how's it going? Engage them, ask questions that gets the dialogue started, right? How did you arrive at this price? Now, when you ask that question, sometimes they become a little more defensive because they feel like they're data scientists, right? I checked Zillow. Why are you asking this question? That's the point. You want to get them to kind of see where they're at. Because why? If you stay curious, here's what happens. Sometimes when you say, how did you arrive at the price? They may not even be confident about how they arrived at their own price. Let me explain. They'll say, well, I arrived at this price because the neighbor down the block sold a house, but I'm not sure, Mike. What do you think? Boom, there's the closing. What do you think? Well, Sally, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm very proactive. I'm intentional. So usually what I do is I sit down, whether I do it on a Zoom meeting or I do it on a call like this. I sit down and I go over all the key benchmarks on how to help you arrive at your price. Would you like me to show you that? Yes, but I don't want to spend 45 minutes, Mike. You don't want to spend 45 minutes? Well, then I can't do that, right? So that's how it warms up. That's how you hit the closing statements. Okay, that's how you hit the closing statements. So did you consider the pricing benchmarks and trends that exist in your area? Did you consider the pricing and benchmarks that exist in your area? Okay. Are you aware of what is sold? Are you aware of what is sold? Right? You're getting to self-discover. You're trying to get them to self-discover that what they've sold, what is expired, have they went down this list before? You understand, guys? You're seeking to understand what they've done so far. Are you aware of the supply and demand in the neighborhood? Did you consider the consequences of pricing high? Do you think this? Guys, that's when you'll say some of the things you answer here. You would say, do you think this kind of information would be valuable? And then you can go to the close, go to the listing close. Opportunity related questions. What are you going to do after the home sells? You can guide them, guys. Well, I'm thinking about moving to Florida. Great. Have you spoken to an agent? I can connect you with an agent. Why Florida? Seek to understand. Have you prepared a seller's disclosure? Are you willing to pay me if I bring a buyer? These are just opportunities. See what opportunities we're working with these folks. Some people are willing to pay a buyer's agent. You just want to know that. Ready for the line? If you're willing to pay a buyer's agent, just for a few dollars more, you get full service. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want full service? Sorry, guys, we're a little frozen over here.